Hello and welcome again to another episode of The Lordly Verdict. Today I will be reviewing a game that's, well, there's been a lot of info about this. That game is Depression Quest, and the creator of that game is best known for managing to get the entire internet talking about her, which is quite impressive. Most of the time it requires posting a video of a cat. I need to do that. I'm sorry for the slight delay. I was busy thinking about how to post a video of my cat. Anyway, yes, well, I could talk for hours on the kind of stuff that she's gotten into, but there are other people talking about that, and that deserves to be a video of its own on its own. First things first, I want to be a game reviewer, and to do that you need to review the game. The game she created is Depression Quest, and my first impulse of it is that it is aptly named. Not because it talks well about depression, mind you, but because the game itself is depressing. The very prose reeks of, I don't know how to put the word, it just reeks of melancholy, yes. It reeks of melancholy and ennui. Yes, I just got a word of the day calendar. I like it very much, but yes, melancholy and ennui. The game is entirely text-based. Some of the previews show off pictures, but they're not in the game. It's purely text. It's essentially a choose-your-own-adventure book. It's not even a visual novel. It's a choose-your-own-adventure book, only electronically. I would compare it very much to the games of Choice of Games. The only difference is those games have a interesting system of character stats and, well, more of a plot. This game is pure and simple. Make a choice and see the results. The game is also incredibly linear. The basic plot line of the game is unchanged no matter what you do. It's like riding a train. You go to stop 1, stop 2, stop 3. Now, the way the choices play out does change, but not in a big way. Now, the game's been criticized and talked about as a system where your character has a measurable level of depression. The more depressed they get, the less choices they get. These choices are crossed out and highlighted red. People have protested it and said that it's not that much of a good idea. It gives people with depression the wrong point, etc., etc. I actually like the system. It fits for the idea it's going for. People talk much about the spiral of depression, how it gets worse and worse until it eventually either peaks and ends in tragedy unless something else intervenes or the person manages to pull himself out of it. This represents it. The key choices to pull yourself out of it are always available. It's the little things that are problematic. Even things as basic as getting out of bed in the morning become problematic for the hero. The real central choice, or one of them, is actually just the point where your character notices, oh crap, my hands are shaking. The problem with this game is, well, besides the obvious that it's depressing, it's just shallow. I mean, it's supposed to be a game about living with depression, and it technically does that. But very quickly you realize it doesn't have much to say about depression. I mean, essentially what you get across is a person with depression feels very sad about everything, and, well, can't get themselves motivated or really notice the good things in life anymore. The game is done in a second-person perspective where you are the player, the character. It's always described as your actions. Again, it's like choose your own adventure book. Now, this has been done very well in a few games. In this one, not so much because they make a terrible mistake. It's a detailed examination of daily life where the character has no actual life. I don't just mean that the character spends the majority of their time sitting around watching Netflix. I'm not kidding, that's actually the basic prose of you spend most of your time watching Netflix. Any attempt at giving them characterization is purposely done. Like, for instance, they work a job. You're given no information about the job other than it's menial and you hate it. As far as you know, it can be anything from a garbage man to a bag boy at Publix to a secret agent. No, seriously. It could easily be that the guy's job is a secret agent and he's just annoyed at the menial parts of being a secret agent. Oh God, I have to spend forever trying to charm this guy. I'll just do is talk with him and talk with him, but eventually you just wait, just say, yeah. All I do is just walk around from informant to informant. He could be a PI. It doesn't matter. The character's so depressed, lowercase d, that they couldn't see their job even if it was the best job in the world. As far as I know, the job could be testing the quality of hookers. I don't know. They never give you any impression. He has a girlfriend who has one characteristic, and that is she is a Jeanne d'Arc level saint. Her sole characteristic is no matter what the character does wrong, how much the character just can't afford to do anything is they will try her best. She will try her best to help them, genuinely cares about and loves them, and it actually just like, how did he get this girl? This is a character who can barely get up the energy to leave their room. How did he get a girlfriend who would quite probably go through a full-fledged video game of slaying demons to rescue him? It's like, what? She's actually an interesting character. I want to hear more about her. And then you have a brother who is actually given the name Malcolm, and his sole character because he's better than you in every way. You envy him. You've got a father who gets like one line of telling the mom to back off, and a mother whose sole characteristic is, stop being so depressed! Get up and do something! She genuinely cares about the character, but she just doesn't realize he is ill. That's also the problem of the game. You can tell one of the main conclusions, which is that depression is an illness. It needs to be treated, in this case medically. Except, you go through just about half the game before the character even thinks of seeing a shrink, and he only sees it because you have to pick the option of, you see your hands are shaking. And some guy at work, and it says, is something wrong? I think you need to see a therapist. You just, oh my God, I do need to see a therapist. I never thought of that. My girlfriend, who's lived with me for years, never thought of saying, do you want to get some help from a therapist? Seriously, it never happens. Most of the game is just derping. Since it very much deals with a very specific type of depression, that being melancholy anyway. The sort of, I've just graduated college, the whole world's in front of me, but I can't do a damn thing. I don't know what to do. Command me. It's something I can actually sympathize with. But it doesn't give it in detail. The character never takes real actions to get out of a situation, except seeing a therapist. And that's the problem. There's nothing to the game. I mean, it feels more like a PSA about depression. And this is what it's like to live with depression. It sucks. If you see someone with depression, call 555-HELP. Alternately, yell to the sky, "Help!" and the lead agents will rescue him. Except, it doesn't include serious ways to help a person. It seems like the ways to help are just incidental. There is no focus to the game. There's no real focus. I was going to tell you the real focus, but it doesn't exist. It's just, this guy has depression. Watch him look through life. There was apparently originally an ending where the character committed suicide. She cut this, according to her, because she didn't want to trigger anyone. This is a mistake. The game itself is likely to trigger someone because it doesn't show a good way out, and it's just depressing to read through. And honestly, I don't know if it's really talking about capital D depression or just, I feel sad. The guy feels like Todd from Scrubs. I'm a sad sack. When I tried to put my hammer on my face, I broke my pen. She feels like Milton from Office Space. He stole my stapler. He stole my stapler. Just... Depression is a serious mental illness. Robin Williams was living with it and he died of it. But I only bring this up because she brought it up. Would the game have helped people understand Robin Williams? No, it would not. Because it didn't give... About the only thing you can get from it that could have maybe helped understand is when someone's that deep in depression, they have trouble seeing that there's a way out. They need someone to help them with that. But even then, it's a idle insight only caused by vague game mechanics. Namely, that there's no way to pull yourself out of the depression except see the therapist. And maybe pick the options that don't act like you're depressed. I forgot to mention the character's hobby, which is the hobby, the project. It's only called that. You're given no information about it. I'm trying to think of something real that I learned about depression. Something that I could use to help a friend. And it's not there. I rate this game a 1 out of 5. I can think of no reason to play this game. I don't know what it's trying to do. I guess it's trying to help people with depression or show what it's like. But the author just doesn't have a deeper understanding of what depression is like. She's not a psychologist. She's not a psychiatrist. She didn't research it well. People said that it feels like she just browsed Wikipedia, and I can see it. It's like a Hollywood movie version of depression. Ignore this game. Just don't bother playing it. You can look at the controversy all you want, and there's some good stuff in the controversy that's really important to look at that gets drowned out in calling the girl a pintahore. Okay, I'll admit pintahore is actually a rather fun word and actually befitting to this situation. But it's a bad game. It does not deserve to be on Steam. It does not deserve the sheer amount of press it's giving, and that's the big irony with the controversy. So much has been spent on how controversial it is that it's actually feeding the trolls. And that's why I want to put a review of this game. Honestly, truly, this game just has nothing to it. The guy from The Room, one of the actors, is going to be in the next game. He did Mark, and I actually pity him because I could easily see the next game by this girl coming across as the next Room. This is a bad game, ignore it, and that's the lordly verdict.